He was in the mood today, precocious in his interview. And Pidcock says, oh my goodness, what was that? I tell you, it was Tadej Pogačar coming up alongside. He's now got a bike length. Pidcock's got to struggle to stay with him. Everyone else has been deaf. There he is, 1, 2, back wheel straight out from underneath him, and he's lucky.
Oh, that's
very, very lucky to have got away with that. The thumb screws are twisting here, and it's Tadej Pogačar who's in control. Oh, look at this. Tom Pidcock is really being stressed out right now. This is a statement about what's to come. Don't forget the Flamme Rouge as well.
Tadej Pogačar was absolutely in a class of his own. And with just under 13 kilometres to go, last of the Strade Bianche sections within his mind, and indeed was dealt with absolutely beautifully, winning the feat of Fabian Cancellara. And so a piece of Strade Bianche history had been written, and indeed one of the famous sections would, of course, be named after him. Such was his advantage. It was a magnificent performance, especially with all the adversity that he had faced through the day.
Mikel Landa, Giulia Ciccone, Bardet is almost in slow motion in a massive gear, and the tornado is about to strike. Tornado Tadej Pogačar pounces and goes forward. Is this the hammer blow? No one is able to respond. Pogačar has flown, and coming back to him now, only one rider from Trek Segafredo. He glances across. Has he got it? Tadej Pogačar, a tornado has struck at the top of the Mur de Huy. He's got enough. Pogačar wins Flèche Wallonne. He took the Amstel. He takes the Flèche. What a ride!
Pogačar still driving on. Pidcock staying with it, but he's out of the saddle, back in the saddle, and there he goes. And Pogačar says, "See ya. I'm out of here," with 28.5 kilometres to go. And there, the elastic snaps. Oh my life! Pidcock is in destruction mode at the moment. Oh, he's twisted the little handle, he's pressed the red button, and here he goes.
Clouds implanted on the test that used to define the race. But this man's defining the season. After 6 hours in the saddle, 2 more climbs went to him, and of course the finish line and the title.
A group of GC contenders, and here he comes. There they are, the catch, the attack. The script is written, it's preordained. Pogačar goes.
Well, some would say that this was an early time to make a breakaway, but after his performance in the World Championships, everyone knew that this could be the moment the race was won. On Sormano, Pogačar started to open up his lead, building it to over 1 minute by the time he reached the descent.
Pogačar brings the curtain down triumphantly on 2024, a year that will be forever his year. And in Lombardia, his race, his story, history. Tadej Pogačar closes it all out, comes to a halt, takes a bow, lifts his bike aloft. He is one of the greatest, if not the greatest racer this sport has ever seen.
Here goes the attack. Tadej Pogačar now starts to up the tempo. The signal was there, and he's already opening up a few meters. Coming across to him is Carapaz. He's just disappeared up the road, and Carapaz is with him, and Carapaz is suffering to stay on the wheel as Pogačar now ramps it up again. Look at the face of Richard Carapaz. He's hauling his way to the top of La Redoute, but the gap is there just a little bit. Can he stay there, or is Pogačar just going to ride away? Carapaz is just ridden away from everyone. The Slovenian superstar Pogačar wins his 6th monument of his career and his 2nd Liège. Bastogne-Liège. Pogačar has destroyed the opposition today.
The planet were up there. Olympic champion Richard Carapaz, and starting to pull out a bit of a gap on the descent from Selvino. But he grew up to 45 seconds of a gap, but with 12 k's to go, looked like he was starting to get cramp. A drink and a ride back into the rhythm meant that he... And then to the finish straight, where he could celebrate, joining legends. Alfredo Binda, Fausto Coppi, and now Tadej Pogačar the only riders to win 3 successive Tours of Lombardy. Tim Wellens pulling things on the front, the rain lashing down, biblical conditions for a very special rider. Tadej Pogačar did make his move then and left spectators open-mouthed. Quickly pulling out 30 seconds, nobody able to react behind. And having seen this was a performance so brutally good that it killed the competition and at times the spectacle. But nevertheless, it was something to remember. Pogačar with a performance for the history books. A chance to celebrate, realise what he'd done. And after he climbed Via Santa Caterina smiling, the place where normally it's a launch pad for those to really take their career to the stratosphere. He'd already done that previously. This was something extra special. 5 hours, 19 minutes as he...
Tadej Pogačar repeats the feat. He's going again. He's landed a left jab. Is this to be the right hook?
What a devastating turn of speed by Tadej Pogačar. That is absolutely incredible.
Yourself is what Tadej Pogačar is all about. He pushed on, leaving, of course, Mathieu van der Poel with a modest margin. Well, the big separation between the two favourites had been made, and it was a question of whether this man could possibly hold the advantage.
Comes the King of Flanders. In Eddy Merckx's backyard, Tadej Pogačar arrives to inherit his crown. Tadej Pogačar wins the fastest ever Tour of Flanders. The best rider in the world wins the best race in the world.
And here goes the Slovenian superstar. Pogačar has absolutely flown now on this climb, on the climb of Wittichen. He looks around, here comes the counter-attacks. Pogačar has decided with 100 kilometers to go, it's time to explode the World Championships. Here he goes again, the attack of Pogačar. Now he launches early on the climb. Sivakov has to swing out of the line, and he's trying to stay on the wheel. The power, the absolute sheer power that this rider produces. And now he goes.
That's too much.
51.6 kilometers to go, and Pogačar simply rides away from the rest of the field. Silver medal. He's done it with pure class and absolute style. An historic day, triple crown, Tadej Pogačar, world champion. That's the bronze.
Tadej Pogačar!
Watch him, because I think Stuyven's also in trouble, and we're going to see it. We're boiling up the two best riders in the race, and Wout van Aert is seeing them go past him. Tadej Pogačar now turning it on. What has Mathieu van der Poel got one left? I think he's in his big gear there. He is really pressing on the pedals to try and stay with Tadej Pogačar. There's a bike length gap. Can he take more? What can Mathieu van der Poel do to stay with the world champion? It's cracking open, Hutch.
He's cracking him up. Pogačar is opening. I didn't think he was going to do this on the Eau de Quarmont on the last climb. I just thought it was going to be, too close to the finish for Pogačar to drop.
No, it's done. It is done. You're absolutely right, John. Mathieu van der Poel is turning squares, and Tadej Pogačar's turning silky smooth circles. Mathieu van der Poel looks back. Tadej Pogačar's riding clear. Is this it in this year's Tour of Flanders? Tadej Pogačar going for his second win, and Mathieu van der Poel vying today to become the greatest male rider in the history. He's going to milk the crowd, but he doesn't need to, because they recognise a massive champion of our sport. If he is on a mission to complete cycling, this is just another tick, but it's a big one. He is going to win this, the 109th edition of the Ronde van Vlaanderen, and he's going to do it in the rainbow bands in the most spectacular of fashions. He took off on the Eau de Quarmont, and this one, his second win, is mission complete for Tadej Pogačar. With the arms in the air, he takes the crowd. The applause of Alkmaar, and well he might.